this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, and you're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake, and we are going to show you what they got.
Yep.
Alas, no Gundam this week.
Aww. But we do have another behemoth.
Yep. So we've got some fun stuff. So here's some stuff you might enjoy.
Yep.
You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read, but I need some action. I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. That ain't no treat. It's full of action with an epic story. If you wanna read a book, go read a book. I will. If you wanna grind, Pro Skater will do. Like that too. I need an axe to hack and slash. 40 hours long, sounds like a job. You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read, but I need some action, I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. That ain't no treat. It's full of action with an epic story. Who's this girl? Her name is Menace. HP. She don't mean shit to me. 10 points. I don't mess with magic. I'm not the healing type. 40 hours long. Awesome, right? But I have a fucking job. Wait. You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read, but I need some action. I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. It's full of action with an epic story. Wait. 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 While I hit you. Wait. While I'm hit. Wait. While I hit you. Wait. While I'm hit. I've talked to the town, I've leveled up. I've seen what I need to see. It was gorgeous, right? So this is an RPG. Yeah. And my role is to read. No. You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read, but I need some action. I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. That ain't no treat. It's full of action with an epic story. Jordan, no.
Well, we got a lot to go, so I'm going to go ahead and start us off, and we're just going to keep doing this from our quarantine centers and and move forward. All right, so I'm going to start us off with the one I don't have a copy of for myself. Well, I have two of these that I don't have a copy of. So the first one is Munster Go Home. And I really want to get the Monsters TV series. I grew up with this. a lot of people grew up and they watched the Addams Family. When I grew up, I watched the Munsters. I didn't watch the Addams Family until much later, other than the movies.
I missed out on both.
I mean, I wasn't around when they were live airing it, but you know what I'm saying. So, essentially, though, it's one of those things. You got this group. The Addams Family is just a group of weird, twisted people. Essentially, and some that are somewhat monstrous. The Munsters are a group of monsters that are essentially just average people who want to get along in society.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit twisted, but they're not like the Addams Family. They have basic, everyday values like anybody else in the society. It's just they are not quite as demented. So this is, one of their feature films. It's on Blu-ray, which is kind of cool. I really, it's weird. It's been $20-some, and I don't know why. I just don't want to spend $24 on the whole series. But I gotta get it one day. I will get that one day. Maybe for my birthday. Maybe I'll treat myself to it one of these days. But it is on my list. I am gonna get it.
Cool.
All right. So I guess I will move over to you. There you are.
All righty then. So, I mentioned a behemoth, and I will start with a different one. I actually have one volume of this particular series, and I'm going to cheat and give this as a pickup because otherwise it'll sit on the shelf for another couple months. A while back at the library, I picked up volume 4 of Midsomer Murders, which, as the box says, is the British rural version of Law and Order. As far as I know, that's a good description as any. Super popular series at the library. People love them some Midsomer Murders. Actually, I can think of a particular friend of ours whose parents watch it frequently. But this week, we're seeing Series 21. Apparently, it does last as long as Law and Order. And obviously, I am nowhere close to that in my collection. But for those of you who have been following the series, here's your chance to go ahead and continue following the series. For those who have not, it is very popular. If you like your police procedurals, especially if you like them with a little bit of British flavor, might be very well worth giving a look.
It's interesting. When you have those two cutoffs at the side, it really makes it easy for me to just edit a picture into the sides.
Right. And it makes it really hard for me to insert anything.
Yeah, because then when you get your stuff up there, but you also don't have to worry about covering up the picture I put in there. So
true.
All right. So I guess that's back to me. All right. So the next one, and the only other one for stuff I don't have, is based off of a movie series called The Purge, which is interesting for right now. Essentially, it's, they create this one day where all crime is illegal, with some, exceptions. And you got to figure out how to survive the night. So they create a series of this. And Series 2 of The Purge is releasing this time. So it's going to be fun. I am glad to see that. But don't have much to say about it. The series is okay. I've seen the first season of it. It's all right. Movies are better.
The weird thing is, I still have yet to see the first movie, but I've seen the other 3.
I've seen
and I do
all
like them.
I've seen all of them but the first Purge. So which was but the movie The First Purge. The fourth film.
Oh, no, I did see that.
So you've seen all but the fourth. I've seen all but the first, and together we've watched the whole thing. Except for the
No. I saw the fourth. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's one of those things. I have not seen the series, but I actually like the movie series. It's pretty interesting.
The fourth
Okay,
Purge.
so yes. There we go. So the next one is one that I do have, and I have a much, much better edition than the one that's coming out. But if the series reputation is anything to worry about, then I still got the better deal because I basically paid what you would for the Essentials release. There's a lot of anime releasing this week, and a lot of it was tempting for me to talk about. But really, in the end, there were only a few that I have a strong something to say. And this is not really one of them. But since I own a copy, I need to talk about it. We're getting an Essentials release of a modest to low-rated series starring Rie Kugamiya called Aria, the Scarlet Ammo. Try and do this in a way where it's not all. Yeah, I'm trying to. There we go. Less reflection. There we go.
Is it still in the shrink wrap or something?
It's still in the shrink wrap. Yes. But this is This is the nice edition. This is
nice.
Funimation's limited edition set. Really nice. I like it. I've never seen the show. Like I said, I've heard middling things about it, but I like the set. It looks pretty, and I like Rie Kugamiya. I think she's a good actress. If you want this show and you want something that will take as much space as one of those, you can get the Essentials. I'm trying really hard to do this without glare, and it's not working.
Relatively cheap.
Relatively cheap, yes. Like I said, several Essentials. He'll be covering one that I also own and that I do very much enjoy. But definitely check them out this week. Funimation's got several offerings.
Well, as I have a bunch of heavy steel books on top of that one, I'll have to cover it later. I'm covering them now in order of where they are in the pile next to me.
Right.
So there is a series that's kind of a fun one. It was a play on an original series called Urasai Yatsura because that's what it reminds me of. And that is To Love Ru. Now, the first season...
little race here.
It is much racier, but at the same time, with Lum being what she was,
yeah,
I think that in more recent times, it probably would have been racier.
Lala is much more intelligent than Lum.
That is true.
And the main character is much less of a depraved lunatic than Ataru.
And she's not a jealous bitch like Lum is either.
No, if anything, she's a little too.
But the series is pretty fun, and Sentai is doing a full season release with a English dub track. They've released all of the series so far except for the OVA, which is funny.
It's stupid.
So I have an older version of this season, so it might be something I would like to eventually get a hold of. But if you like Urasai Yatsura, which is essentially about this alien girl getting engaged to this guy, and it's the same basic concept. It's a harem series, and it gets more harem as it goes on.
Lala is also a princess, right? Because basically Lum was a princess.
They're all princesses. This is about a bunch of princesses, of course. This one here, Golden Darkness, she is... she's got awesome. Her own series, which her first series was also sometimes considered season 3 of To Love Ru. I've seen it advertised as such, but it got 2 seasons, which have also been released on Blu-ray. And then there was a Moto To Love. As a matter of fact, the only ones I've seen of this series is this and the OVA, which has not been released.
And the OVA is a direct sequel to season 1 that introduces Lala's twin sisters. If you go straight to Moto, if you go straight to Moto, they're already there, and it's like, where'd they come from?
One day they will get released.
Yeah. Of course, I had the complete series except for the OVA. So speaking of complete series collections, A very, very acclaimed show that I really want to see, and I have not seen yet, is getting both a season 4 release and a complete release, and that is the Rami Malek starring series Mr. Robot, which I don't know much about it. I want to say the main character is a computer programmer, but I've forgotten exactly. But I know the show got several Golden Globe nods, and I think it won some. And like I said, it put Malek kind of on people's radar before Bohemian Rhapsody even came out. It's supposed to be a really good show, kind of a dark, sort of, satirical kind of show, which sounds good. And like I said, they are doing a season 4, and they're also doing a complete release of all the seasons. So whichever, choose your poison, as it were.
One of these days, I need to watch that series. I've heard so many good things about it. It looks like a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, there is a really awesome set coming out by Arrow, which is Ringu. I'm getting it right this time, because every time I really want to go like this, but then I tell my mind, no, don't go like that. You got the room over here.
You fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
To show it. So this one has the 3 Japanese films, because of course everybody's familiar with The Ring and the unfortunate Ring 2. It may be Rings, and maybe Sadako. Depends on whether you've, got them all there. I think I've got most of them. I want to say I may have gotten rid of Sadako. It was such a terrible film.
I only bothered with the first 2 American ones.
But I actually have this one, which has 4 films on it, which you might have too, I think, don't you?
No, I have that exact same set. That is a very cool set.
It is. It was in the $5 bin at Walmart at the time.
I think it was $4.
Whatever it was very cheap.
Yeah.
And then it went up pretty quickly, so that's unfortunate. I wish it had stayed like that.
Now, I'll admit that Arrow set looks awesome. If I didn't have that set, I'd want it. But
as you can see, it's got 4 films. I got Ringu, Rasen, Ringu 2, and Ringu 0. And I think Rasen is the only one that's missing from the Arrow set, because
it's
I know
not missing.
0.
It's not missing. I looked at this bonus features. It's on there as a bonus feature.
Okay, so they do have all 4 films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
And they do have a crap ton of bonus features on that set.
Because they advertise it.
You think it's Criterion or something?
So yeah. Well, Arrow is essentially Criterion for those types of films.
Yeah.
And they are. I've got a couple Arrow sets, and they are just really awesome looking sets.
They don't stay in print like Criterion does.
No, they don't. They got it quick. I mean, I've got that. I've got that Feast set over there. That's worth quite a bit now. But you just gotta. If you see something that you like from Arrow and you see it coming out, grab it. Don't wait for it to fall, because it might not. They do sales, but you never know. If you really want it, just get it. I rarely say that about things, but you just want to get it. It's just like that series. God, what was it? That Aniplex series that's coming out soon. Nisekoi, whatever it is.
Nisekoi is getting a re-release.
Yeah, full series, and for the first time, the OVA is going to be on it. And and since half of that series is out of print, and Aniplex is bad about that, having stuff go out of print.
Nisekoi, I've been watching. You can easily get volumes 1 and 4, but good luck on the other 2.
Well, now they've got a reason for you not to bother with those, because you can get the OVA.
Exactly. And I read Nisekoi. It's not worth paying Aniplex prices, although it is a fun series. But and I will say, if you're only familiar with The Ring from The Ring and The Ring 2, ignore The Ring 2. Forget it ever existed.
God, no, that's a terrible movie.
The Ring is actually a pretty decent adaptation, except that they changed the ending. But the original ones are all pretty good. And
there's a cat.
And there's a cat who's getting really hyped up for some reason. I don't know what he's up to, but anyway. So my apologies for anyone that's wondering what that caterwauling is.
A caterwauling cat.
Yes, caterwauling cat, exactly. So I mentioned another behemoth. Do you want me to go ahead and lead off on that, or do you want to lead off?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
I'm motioning like they can see it, you know.
All right. So the winter saw the release of the greatest film of all time, according to probably 10 people. And according to the masses, it saw the release of a very unsatisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga, as it were, in the Star Wars films, the so-called Rise of Skywalker. We are seeing a new release. This one's not getting 4K this release, right? It's just the Blu-ray, or is it?
I think it is 4K. It will get a 4K.
Okay,
release.
Okay. So, all right. Well, anyway, this one's getting a release this week, and I will admit, Rise of Skywalker was a very fun movie. It was very fun, and for a casual viewer who doesn't really care about gaping plot holes or how much the film actually jived with the previous film or anything like that, it's a fun movie. If you really wanted a continuation of the story that felt satisfying and a good way to end 40-some years of filmmaking, not so much.
Don't worry, they promised more films, just no more trilogies.
I'm sure. But yeah, I'll definitely be getting it. I mean, it's Star Wars. I've got to have it for the set eventually. One of these days I'll get hold of it, and then I'll watch all of mine because I have all of them needing to be watched. So that'll be a fun, which, if things keep progressing the way that we think they're going to, I'll have plenty of time for Star Wars.
Well,
yeah.
For better or for worse, I have less time. So,
Better or for worse.
For better or for worse. Now, on one hand, I'm getting paid. On the other hand, I'm getting worked to death. So, hey.
Yeah, it's a trade-off, yeah.
But I also like Star Wars to a point. I'm not an obsessive fan that likes to go off on people on racist rants or things like that. That I guess that's what it requires to be a true fan. But I do like to collect the Star Wars movies on Steelbook. I even have the Clone Wars movie on Steelbook. So, of course, I've got Rise of Skywalker on Steelbook coming to Best Buy, and I'll be picking it up at the curbside, apparently. But some really cool stuff is releasing. I'm going to get over to this side because I'm going to need to create room because there's a lot of stuff coming out. There's a lot of 4K coming out. I've added Solo because even though it wasn't on my initial list, I mean, everything else is being released. I'm sure Solo is. There is a 4K listing. Everything Amazon has isn't going to get shipped until like April, so we can't really do much about that. But so we can't tell quite what the release date is. But I'm just going to go through and show you why I am not likely going to be picking up there, because I've got Solo. I couldn't resist putting that little song in there. Of course, then there's The Phantom Menace, one of the best films of all time, Star Wars-wise.
Yeah.
Because it's got one of the best characters of all time. They are cool, though, aren't they? Look at this. This is Attack of the Clones, the one that everybody loves in the prequel trilogy. Of course, Revenge of the Sith. Matter of fact, Killian did a prequel summary garbage guide, which was fun. Of course, you got A New Hope.
Ah.
Empire Strikes Back. And many of these are still very much in print. The Star Wars ones rarely go out of print, except for the Clone Wars one for some reason. But otherwise, these are very much in print, and you can get them pretty cheap. Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And let's see. Then you have The Force Awakens. And some of these are 4K, some of these are basic Blu-ray. And, of course, everyone's favorite, The Last Jedi. And, where is Rogue One? I had Rogue One. I know I had Rogue One.
I do not have Rogue One. I need to get it.
I have it somewhere. I'll show it. I will get it while you are talking about the next thing, and then I'll show it off then. So
Okay.
you go right on ahead. I'm going to look for it.
All right. So, from a galaxy far, far away to a pair of somewhat nautical themed, if the title makes any connection there, movies that are getting the Criterion release this week. One is an old film from back in the day called Showboat. I believe it's a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, if I remember correctly. And it is the source of the very, very well-known and well-beloved rendition of the song Old Man River. For the life of me, I am forgetting the actor's name, and I do not know why that is. I'm blanking on that. My apologies, but okay. So here we go. Let's bring this up. This is directed by James Whale. I knew there was a reason why I was James Whale, very, very well-known director. This is 1936. Older than I had remembered.
The Steamboat one, Showboat.
Yeah, and again, lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein II. Oh, not Rodgers and Hammerstein's. Jerome Kern did the music, but Hammerstein still. Starring Irene Dunn, and Paul Robeson is the one who gives that performance that everyone remembers. Apparently, it's a film that gets into some sticky territory in terms of race relations and that sort of thing. Being from the 30s, I'm hesitant about whether... I don't know what to expect from this, but I do know it's a very notable piece of cinema history, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, good to see. And Criterion's doing both of these that are coming out this week, Criterion is putting their A game on, and that's nice. They don't always, but it's nice to see when they do that.
Yeah, I just filmed and uploaded, which you can watch. You should be able to have already watched it, but it came up as we were filming. Matter of fact, it is already uploaded, which is my third Criterion stroll, which is kind of cool.
Oh, very nice.
So I did. Isn't this a cool cover, though? I mean, I love this.
Oh, yeah.
That is a really cool looking cover.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is also pretty decent. So a lot of people don't like it, but I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So one that's interesting that is releasing on Essentials. We were talking about this earlier, but was buried in Steelbook. And that is B. Gata HK, Yamada's First Time. Now, this is an interesting series. It's about this girl, Yamada, and she has made a peculiar goal. She's a virgin, but she wants to make sure that by the end of high school, she sleeps with 100 guys.
Yeah.
That is a very strange goal. And for something like that, a sex comedy like that, you would expect them to be a lot more ecchi than they really are with the series. It's actually just a regular kind of romantic comedy. And there you go.
It's actually kind of sweet, yeah, because she has this goal, but she is not she's not the promiscuous sort. She doesn't even know how to.
Yeah, I've got the a Blu-ray DVD limited edition here, which is not the smaller compact one like you have with Aria. But still, it's a pretty cool edition. I'm glad.
That's a cool edition. I have that edition as well. It's very cool. I like it.
It is cool, and
yeah,
I'm just glad to have that.
And it came with a mouse pad. That was fun.
So, in any case, I will push this over to you.
Okay. Well, the other, from sex comedy to sex tragedy, I guess you could say.
And now for something completely different.
We have the other Criterion release this week is a film from 1991 that I have actually never seen before, but I've actually read the book. And I read the book all the way back in high school, so it's been a long, long time. But it's Barbra Streisand's adaptation of the Pat Conroy classic novel, The Prince of Tides, which is a very, again, it's been ages since I read that, but I remember it distinctly as being, I would say you could almost say it's sort of in the same vein as something like you might expect from someone like Nicholas Sparks or whatever, but actually really good. You got to make that crucial distinction there. Like I said, I've never actually seen the movie, but I want to. The movie, of course, stars Streisand along with Nick Nolte, and it's supposedly one of his better roles, if I understand correctly. And like I said, actually directed by Streisand. It's got a boatload of special features on it. It's definitely going to be a good addition to pick up, and it'll be a very big, I want to say, wasn't this one a Best Picture nominee in 91? I feel like it was.
It could have been. I don't know.
I think it's one of those ones that I need to see for that reason. But, for an example, one of the special features that intrigues me, excerpt from a 2018 interview with Streisand conducted by filmmaker Robert Rodriguez on El Rey Network's The Director's Chair. I want to see Rodriguez interviewing Streisand. That just sounds fun. I don't know why. It sounds very intriguing. And there's also an interview with Pat Conroy from 92. There's a lot of good stuff on here, and I'm very intrigued. And I'll admit both of these are potentials for this July sale, so we'll see what happens. But for those of you who can't wait till July, go ahead. I think Criterion is still running a 30% off sale of their own website, so you can actually get them a little bit cheap right now, so it's not bad. Yeah.
Well, I know you're saving the best for last.
I got a rant to go with that.
But this one, I really don't have a lot to say because I just talked about it in my pickups. And I just mentioned in the pickups that Right Stuff sent it early. So next week, this particular version is coming out of Lupin the Third, Fujiko's Lie. Sometimes Right Stuff will send things a little bit early, which it's kind of cool though. I mean, I get to see what all those other YouTube people who have a lot of people following them get. I get the studio releases early, so that's kind of cool. I could, if I watched it this week, I could still see it a full week ahead of everybody else. I probably won't.
Alrighty then.
But still fun to get something.
Okay.
Early.
Now, speaking of getting stuff early, okay, this one I did not order because Right Stuff's pre-order price is $130 because Aniplex.
Monkey's out of the bottle, man.
So you'll know where this is going. But I got to see this early because apparently there's a company based out of, I think it's Malaysia or Singapore or something, that supposedly is legit, that our library ordered some stuff from them and they ordered this series. So I've already seen it. But Aniplex is releasing a series that I have been actively reading the manga, and it's a pretty, one major glaring flaw aside, it's a pretty kick-ass series, and it's a series called The Promised Neverland. Aniplex is doing it in a one-shot, complete collection set. So, it could be worse. They're not dragging it out like they usually do. But even so, you're pre-ordering 12 episodes for $130, and it's not in. It's that's a lot. But The Promised Neverland, basically, I think I've talked a little bit about the manga. I may or may not have talked about the anime. I don't think I have. I think it was on that long list of things we haven't discussed yet. So let's go ahead and do a brief discussion. The anime is a very faithful adaptation of the manga right up until this escape from Gracefield House. That's as far as I will go with that. There is a season 2 coming out, I think, this fall. Unfortunately, that'll probably also be an Aniplex release. But the series basically takes place at a place called Gracefield House, where a whole bunch of orphan children are living an idyllic, carefree life with their mother, who, the house mother, if you will, and who is very kind and treats them well. They take a lot of tests, very hard tests. These are very intelligent children. And then one day, a young girl named Connie goes to a new home and leaves her stuffed bunny behind. And two of the kids, Emma and I'm drawing a blank. It's Emma, Ray, and the other one, Norman. Yes. Emma and Norman go to return the bunny to Connie before she leaves and find out something horrifying. And long story short, this is not a huge spoiler because you find out very quickly they are being raised as meat for demons. Whew. And it is not a cheerful, idyllic life after all. So the first season revolves around the escape. And the big glaring flaw is that there's a character who is almost guaranteed to be seen as racist by American viewers. Not that she she is like a stereotype. Her name is Crone. She's not a bad character, but it's kind of painful to see her. Everything else is kick-ass. Everything about it's tightly plotted. It's a cat and mouse kind of psychological drama, which I love. I love the fact that these kids, Emma is a kick-ass character. She is a really kick-ass character. And the way they do the anime, the way they do the music and the lighting and the camera angles makes the show creepy as hell, which is great. So it's a great show, and I will recommend it. I do not recommend you pay this much unless you have the money to burn. But I guarantee you I'm going to be looking for a good option on this. And damn Aniplex!
Yes, they are not...
Yes.
They're not good. Well, with
Yes.
that being said, I guess we will end things here this week.
Mhm.
But, of course, hopefully, as time goes on and I feel a little bit better and we're not all like super tired, maybe we'll start going back in and maybe we'll hit that next NIS set thing.
Woohoo!
It'll just be... I'm hoping that we can get to where we're less like separated. Maybe actually be together to film that. So
Well, we need to be together to film that one because it's cool. That's a big deal. But on the plus side, it might give me an opportunity to get ready for it.
that is true. I think that fate is trying to get into our way. Well, you said you've already seen the majority of that half anyway. So you just need to knock out.
I have the majority of it. Well, I've seen the majority. Yeah.
See, if you concentrate on those, you might be able to say you've watched those.
Yeah.
Oh, well, who knows? You might have time for viewing.
Yes. Very little so far, but hopefully more in the future.
or maybe not. But
Right.
any case, to the rest of y'all, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you like this. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you want to watch all of our videos. Of course, you could do that without a subscription, but we'd appreciate the subscription. And
Indeed.
share. We want to get that mood out. I'm going to try and start also adding some credits, even though you see them roll onto that, and I'm going to include our Facebook channel link. So join that. Technically, Jake is also a moderator, but he never posts anything. He never goes on Facebook. So,
Yeah. I'll have more time to play on the computer.
So with that being said, hope you're having a good one, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.